How do you ensure that you're never taken for granted in your relationship? Remember always that being and feeling taken for granted is the death knell of every loving relationship, and it's the result of certain behaviors. I'm going to illuminate them for you here. When you grant yourself to the other person in exchange for sexual exclusivity, and they grant themselves to you in exchange for sexual exclusivity with you, the inevitable outcome always is they take you as granted to them, and you take them as granted to you. It is the inevitable, logical, and every other way outcome. When you grant yourself to the other person, they take you as granted. When they grant themselves to you, you take them as granted, and taking someone as granted and you're being taken as granted is the same exact thing as being taken for granted. And you're taking them for granted. It is the inevitable outcome always. When you take them as granted and they take you as granted, they will feel taken for granted and you will feel taken for granted. It is the inevitable outcome always. So how do you ensure you're never taken for granted in your relationship? If you want to learn more about this, by the way, go to the link in my bio, click on the SOR system of relationships, the successful open relationship system. So how do you do it? You must communicate with them. It is absolutely critical. I even communicate this the very first time I meet them. It could simply sound like this. Hey, what do you think about this? This is my model of relationship. This is how I portray my relationships. Let me know what you think. It's that simple. And you communicate with them. You must communicate with them that you must not be their only lover, and that they must know that you cannot be their only lover and that they are not your only lover. And the cause of this and the reason you have this is that being and feeling taken for granted is the result of you're granting yourself to them for sexual exclusivity in exchange for, and they're granting themselves to you for sexual exclusivity. So what you're looking for, you could say, I adore you so much. I think you're incredible. I think you're beautiful. And that may very well be that they're the most beautiful person in the world. They're the most handsome person in the world. They're the most amazing and incredible person in the world. Nonetheless, you must communicate this with them because it's incredibly critical in your relationship. This is the crux of every loving relationship, that if you are taken for granted, it is the death knell of that relationship. And so you must communicate with them. I adore you, I admire you, I think you're the most beautiful, most handsome person in the world. And I am not looking for sexual exclusivity despite that. And the reason why, and actually, I would insist that I'm not your only lover and you will not be my only lover. I'm not looking for sexual exclusivity. And the reason why is because I do not want either of us to be taken for granted. Let me give you a metaphor that's going to work for you. Let's say I make the most amazing Michelin star rated, 3 Michelin star rated, the highest Michelin scoring you could have. Let's say, what is your favorite dish? Let's say your favorite dish is a filet mignon, for example. Well, I make a 3 Michelin star, the world's best filet mignon. And you've agreed. You've tasted my filet mignon. You've tasted many different Michelin star restaurants, and you said, wow, this is the best filet mignon in the world. Well, let's say, baby, let me propose something to you. I will make for you this filet mignon exclusive to you in exchange for filet mignon exclusivity. In exchange for you're only eating my filet mignon and nothing else. Well, it sounds great because you make the world's greatest 3 Michelin star filet mignon. After a week, after a few months, or even after a year, you say, the filet mignon is no longer anything special. It's just food. It's just calories. It's just sustenance. After that point, you say, oh, anything but filet mignon, spaghetti, Filipino food, Korean barbecue, American food even, hamburgers, McDonald's, Wendy's, In-N-Out, whatever the case is, anything but filet mignon, despite us being a 3 Michelin star filet mignon. Anything that you get an unlimited amount of, anything that's granted to you, you will inevitably take for granted. And you will feel you're taking it for granted, and they will feel taken for granted. No longer will I think, oh, she's appreciating my filet mignon. She's only eating my filet mignon because it's the only filet mignon she could have. It's the only food she can have. And she's not appreciating he or she is not appreciating your filet mignon because your filet mignon is the only thing they could be eating. So it's absolutely critical that you communicate with them so that this is incredibly important so that neither of you take each other for granted, because being and feeling taken for granted is the death knell of every loving relationship. So hopefully that helps. Share this video with other people. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. You're making the world a better place for all of us. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.